Thank you.
I just have one question. Chief, so we've been talking back and forth about our people on the SWAT team, and I did read your letter, and I read Ann's letter. So I'm left with the impression that you're going to replace the members on NEMLAC at the beginning of the next fiscal year?
Right. Actually, today I spoke with Chief Michael Murphy from NEMLEC. He's the president of NEMLEC. And we had a conversation about having Officer Coleman resume his K-9 duties on the NEMLEC team July 1st. And then my goal is to add 2 additional patrol officers to the RRT. They have to apply and qualify. Mm-hmm. And then we're in the process of looking at purchasing the leased motorcycle that we have. So we can have that. And then the motor officer that we had is no longer here. He went to another agency. But we have an officer who's interested, and we just need to find training and square away the paperwork on the motorcycle. So yeah, and then I volunteered as well to be in whatever capacity I can volunteer for NEMLEC to make those numbers.
Right. So you're opting to replace a lieutenant with 2 patrolmen. I got the impression that Lieutenant Siemens will not be returning.
That's correct.
Okay. And it's because?
Lieutenant Siemens has 15 years on the team. About a year ago, I had a conversation with him about transitioning off the team so we could have the younger officers sort of get that training, knowledge, experience so they can have that instead of not having any other place to go. It's difficult in a small agency, as you know. It's difficult in a small agency we don't have a juvenile division, we don't have a traffic division, we don't have, other divisions that officers can strive to go in for specialized training, other than working in patrol, going to detectives, or some other, evidence or prosecutor, whatever. So this is a way to get those officers additional opportunities to keep them engaged and get them additional training and additional opportunities on the SWAT team, the NEMLEC. Lieutenant Siemens has given 15 years of service to that team. It's been a great run for him, and when I explained to him a year ago what my plan was, he hadn't had his 15-year anniversary yet, so he asked me if we could wait till his 15-year anniversary, and I did that, and it just seemed like the normal transition when we were sort of pulling back for a couple of months while we worked with our finances to sort of get that in check, that it was a good transition for him to come off, and then we could transition newer officers moving forward.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, you're a 97A chief. I understand that you decide where the manpower is deployed and all that. But sometimes we get these questions. So that led me to just one more question. Do you rotate the detective bureau, or is it always the same people that are detectives?
Well, I'd love to be able to do that. It's just we only have 2. So I'd love to be able to put another detective in there. I think that rotating people out of divisions is a good practice.
I do too.
It's just when you have so few people to replace, it's almost like you need to put a new person in the unit, because just because you're given a detective badge doesn't mean you know how to investigate crimes or be a detective. There's got to be a mentoring process. There's got to be somebody in the division that's going to take you under the wing and show you how to do fingerprints and collect evidence and hone your interview skills. That's you're a detective,
Sure.
right?
No.
So I mean, you know how to. So you have to have someone that mentors young detectives into that place. With only two detectives, it's really hard to cycle one out that's got all the knowledge that's taken years to build up, and put somebody in there that doesn't really have that knowledge. So that is something that I do want to work on as we get more personnel. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Yes. For Lieutenant Siemens, is there any way to use him in a way internally for training, possibly, to take advantage of the 15 years of experience he's gained?
He actually does a lot of our training. He's the certified MPTC firearms instructor. He's our taser instructor, defensive tactics instructor. He incorporates a lot of the tactical knowledge and experience that he's gleaned from the SRT and the RRT and the SWAT team over the years, and imparts that on the officers. And I think it's a great leadership opportunity for him to continue in that vein, especially as a shift commander.
Sure.
And when he has a captive audience and roll call, if you will, just to continue in that vein, as well as incorporating it all into the regular training sessions that we have. You know, we've been working together. We're trying to get some, you know, additional training for firearms, so it's not just a qualification once a year, you know, with the rifle and the shotgun, and the pistol. It's, you know, we can do maybe low light training, or, you know, some other trainings where he can hone in on the, you know, the technical aspects of firing, so everyone's very comfortable when they can qualify easily.
Sure.
But additional to that too. So yeah, there's definitely an opportunity for him, and he's been doing it, you know, and I know he loves it.
Great. It's good to hear.
Just one more follow-up. I don't know how to say this to you, but I see a lot of cross wires sometimes with different communications between, you know, your department and our department here. So I guess I won't know unless I ask the question. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. You are indicating to me that Lieutenant Siemens is okay with being taken out of the NEMLAC SWAT team?
To my knowledge, yes. I gave him a letter on February 14th, and a week later, myself and Deputy Chartrand sat with him in my office for well over an hour, and he understood it. He wasn't happy about it, but he understood it, and he said that, you know, it is what it is.
And the only reason why I asked is because I know the history is, you know, his father was on the NEMLAC, and, you know, he's been on it since I left,
Right.
at least since I've left, and I know that he loved it. So it was just surprising for me to hear that he was okay with it.
Right, but in that same vein that you were talking with earlier about the detectives, don't you think it's a good idea that we offer this opportunity to younger officers or someone else that's interested that hasn't had that opportunity in 15
I
years?
think it is cheap, but I don't think it's a good idea for somebody to matriculate all the way up to the highest rank that they can in the department, and then be punished for that by being removed, you know, for budgetary reasons.
No one's punishing anybody, Mr. Ochinsky.
Okay.
No one's punishing Lieutenant Siemens.
Well, I thought I had read something about budgetary issues.
That's not a punishment. It's a reassignment for a financial issue. It's not a punishment. So
Right,
if you're
so-
classifying, hold on.
Right, so
Hold on.
when the money comes back,
Yeah.
then he should go back into the unit, if
Well-
you're not punishing him.
Well, as I said, I'm not punishing him, and for you to classify it like that is inappropriate, okay? There's no punishment here. Lieutenant Siemens has been reassigned from the team so we can open up that door to have other people participate. That's the reason behind it, and for you to insinuate otherwise
No,
is false.
I'm not insinuating, Chief, I'm just asking you a very simple question, is he okay with that? You told me he was, that there's nothing needs.
But then you continued and said, I'm punishing him. I'm not. And if you insinuate that, it's false.